Imagine a world where the tiniest invisible enemy can steal your mobility or even your life. Just 70 years ago, the world lived in fear of a virus that could strike down anyone, especially children, without warning. It was ruthless, contagious, and unstoppable. Until we fought back. But what if I told you that fight isn't over yet? The real danger of polio lies in its silent spread, and there's much more to the story. Today, we're counting down the top 5 reasons why polio is still dangerous, and why we can't let our guard down. Grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. First up, polio is sneaky. When you think of polio, you probably picture paralysis, right? But here's a twist. Less than 1% of people who catch polio actually get paralyzed. The rest might just feel like they caught a bad flu, or feel nothing at all. That's what makes it so hard to track. It silently spreads through communities, and by the time anyone notices, it's already infected hundreds. That's the real danger. Polio could be lurking in any corner, and we wouldn't even know it. Next up, number 4. Polio thrives where there's poor sanitation and lots of people. Think of it as a virus with a taste for crowded cities and areas without clean water. Polio spreads through airborne droplets and yes, even contaminated water or food. So, in places with poor sanitation, it's basically having a field day, moving from person to person like it's in a rush to meet everyone. It doesn't need a passport or an invite, and once it's in, it sticks around, infecting more people over several weeks. Talk about overstaying your welcome. Reason number 3. The first line of defense against polio came from 2 scientists with different ideas. In the 1950s, Jonas Salk made the first injectable polio vaccine. It stopped people from getting paralyzed but didn't stop the virus from spreading. Then, Albert Sabin came along with an oral vaccine which was cheaper and could actually stop the virus from spreading in communities. Between these 2 vaccines, polio was almost wiped out globally. Almost. But polio had a secret up its sleeve that would strike back later. Number 2 is a twist we didn't see coming. Mutation. The oral vaccine was incredibly effective, but it had one catch. When used in places with low vaccination rates, the weakened virus could circulate for weeks, and then mutate. It's like the virus got a second wind, evolving into a new strain. These vaccine-derived strains could spread just like wild polio and start new outbreaks. So, it became a race against time to keep everyone vaccinated to stop these mutant strains from taking over. Quick quiz. How high do you think vaccination coverage needs to be to prevent these mutations? A. 50%, B. 70%, C. 80%? Give us a like and stay tuned for the answer. And the top reason polio is so dangerous? It's still out there, especially in places affected by conflict. Countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan are still battling outbreaks, not because they don't want to vaccinate, but because getting vaccines to these areas can be incredibly difficult. Picture trying to track down every child in a war-torn region or remote village. Polio workers are using tech like geospatial imaging to locate remote areas, but it's still a tough job. Without 80% vaccination coverage, these places become breeding grounds for the virus. Final thoughts. Can we finally beat polio? We're closer than ever to beating polio for good. With new vaccines targeting these mutant strains, better surveillance systems, and more advanced tech, we've got polio on the ropes. But remember, this is a team effort. To truly eradicate polio, we need to keep up vaccination rates worldwide. And hey, every person counts. Now let's answer our poll. If you guess C, 80%, you're right. That's the vaccination threshold needed to keep polio mutations under control. So, what can you do to help? First, spread awareness. This video could reach someone who needs to hear it. And second, check out organizations working to end polio, and consider supporting their efforts. Let's make sure future generations never have to worry about this disease again. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new about polio, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. And remember, just because something seems rare doesn't mean it's gone.